It's Hyun?
The correct one. That's right. And this is on Daybreak. And in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, it is the green Protoss, Pandatank.
Looks like both these guys have changed accounts for this game.
Yeah, we do. We have it confirmed, though, that even though it says TSL Hyun, this is Value. And Value is the player in the top right-hand corner of the map, playing as the red Protoss. Now, Protoss versus Protoss, maybe we'll see a little bit different play style compared to the practice match we saw. We did see those Phoenixes. Phoenix unit at the beginning of the game, beginning of the history of StarCraft 2, people were like, what? And that's kind of how I felt that Hellions were playing as a Terran. It's like, Hellions? What am I going to ever use this for? And then I actually watched the pros and thought, wow, I had no idea I could do that. And that's the fun of the evolution of StarCraft 2, and I really look forward to seeing more different styles, especially with Heart of the Swarm coming out in 2013, they announced.
I can't wait to see Heart of the Swarm. Yeah, you're kind of exactly what you were saying. If you think back to Brood War, man, there was this for years people swore that vultures were terrible units. And then Nada came along. And he said, I'm just going to make vultures and I'm going to win Star Leagues. And I'm really excited to see those kind of unit characters. I was actually playing some Heart of the Swarm earlier today, trying as much as I could to incorporate the new units and the new research. I was wanting to use Hydralisks and Swarm Host, and I just kept getting crushed over and over and over.
It's really tough, especially when you've been playing so long in a certain style with units, timings, build orders that you're so used to. Same thing with me as Terran in Heart of the Swarm. I'm actually trying to play more Zerg in Heart of the Swarm, thinking, oh yeah, I can make Swarm Hosts. And when do I make Vipers? What's the proper time to use those? What proper situations?
It's really fun. You have to figure out how to allocate your resources. I mean, we live in a time of the StarCraft 2 lifespan where a Zerg player on Hive Tech wants to spend all of his gas on Corruptors and Broodlords and maybe a couple of Infestors. And when now Heart of the Swarm is going to come out, we're going to have Swarm Hosts to consider. We're going to have Vipers to consider. And even now, Ultralisks have a lot more viability with the Burrow Charge upgrade. So how in the world are we going to have all the gas we need to make the units we want?
I do not know. And of course, all the other units from the different races, Terran, even the Battlecruiser upgrade ability, which I believe is still in the game, that you can have boosters to make the Battlecruisers go faster. Warhound obviously is out. For those that have not been keeping up to date, it is gone in the current build. But in the build happening right now, we have a Cybernetics core and 2 gateways down for Value. 1 gateway warping in a Zealot. Too much Zerg talk. And Warp Gate is being researched.
Pandatank went for the gas steal here against Hyun, taking one of his geysers. It's going to limit, well, not against Hyun, against Value, but that's going to limit Value's options quite a bit. Zealot and a Stalker will eventually kill this Assimilator, but from here, Value has to say to himself, either, all right, let's do some crazy aggression, or all right, let's do some crazy expansion, because if he tries to sit on just one base, he's not going to have enough gas. He's going to be behind in any number of ways. It looks like Pandatank once again returning to this Stargate play.
Well, I guess whatever he practiced against that other player, he wants to execute this time on Value.
Against Handle It.
Against Handle It, which could not handle it. He could not handle those Phoenixes. Stalker's continually coming out of these 2 gateways from Value. He does have Warp Gate past the halfway point being researched, was able to destroy that Assimilator, and now has the Assimilator of his own on that Vespene Geyser, and will start mining more gas. 2 gas for both of the players. Stargate almost finished for Black Rock, a.k.a. Pandatank, and 2nd gateway is almost complete as well.
I think it's really interesting that we're seeing the gas steal into Stargate. It means that Pandatank is supremely confident in his ability to defend 4-gate with a minimum or a minimal amount of units. Already we see, wow, look at the patience there from Pandatank. Value threatening to come forward up that ramp, Pandatank not willing to commit a force field to it. It was cool, really, really cool to see. And the reason that I bring it up is because when you gas steal, you're basically daring your opponent to 4-gate. And in this case, Value did not go for that. He is, in fact, going to go expand and then drop a Robo. And that should, in this case, be something that Pandatank's pretty happy to play against.
Yeah, controlling the battlefield by controlling what your opponent expects is part of the art of war. And to be able to force him into a 4-gate by, like what you said, MrBitter, throwing down that gas. You know, if somebody does that to you, you have to anticipate, okay, what does he think I'm going to do? And should I do that? and effectively execute it or do something else that's going to surprise him.
Yeah, man. I like the Art of War reference. Sun Tzu did in fact say, if you can defend 4-gate, gas steal.
Chapter 7, verse 2. 3 sentries down for Value. Army Value, pardon the pun, is in Pandatank's favor at this time with 1,000 in minerals and 600 in gas. But at this point in the game, just having those sentries stopping any kind of movement up the ramps can't really do that much damage. But the expansion is complete for Value as he moves a number of probes to the expansion, while the Nexus is only halfway done for Pandatank. Stargate is complete, obviously, because he has 3 Phoenixes out on the map. And one of them definitely took a lot of damage, but is not dead yet. He's still in the fight.
Phoenixes did the little flyby, picked up a couple of probes. Not a huge number, but it does at least keep the worker counts even. 31 harvesters to about 31 harvesters as soon as this next little round of probes pops out for Value. Both guys have expanded. Nexus isn't quite done yet for Pandatank, but it will be in just a couple of seconds. He's already sending probes down. And he's beginning to transition over to his robotics bay tech. So looks like he wants to make some Colossi. Interesting follow-up to this Phoenix opening. And quite a bit different from what we saw in his practice game against Handle It, which really makes me think of the 50 DKP minus guy. Whelps incoming, Handle It.
Handle it. That's right.
50 DKP minus.
2 gas going down for Pandatank is complete. Zealot moving over there just to guard it, make sure the probes are doing their job, because that's what foremen do sometimes. All they have to do is just stand there and people do their jobs. But if they're not present, people don't do their jobs. Funny how that works. These Stalkers from Value sitting at the back of his mineral line, trying to stop those Phoenixes from harassing anymore. And he's going to lay down another assimilator here for the 4 gas. His tech right now is just staying on the gateways, it seems. But he does get a Twilight Council and is researching Blink.
That is correct. First Colossus about to be out for Pandatank. And he's even going double Robo. He's going to follow this up with double Robo Colossus. This is like how Rotterdam plays PvZ, or I should say played PvZ for a long time. He's since kind of moved away from the 2-base pushes and uses the Phoenix into Robo play to take his 3rd base. Phoenix still poking around outside of the natural expansion of Value. Value's doing a great job of being aware of the Phoenix presence and of not really letting them do too much damage. Only 4 probes have been killed, so that's very, very nicely done. And he's even managed to keep a worker lead, which is unbelievable against something as fast, mobile, and high damage dealing as the Phoenix.
3 more gates being warped in for Value, making it 6. I believe he's warping in another one. No, it's Robotics Bay. So 6 gate plus Robotic Bay from Value. I'm trying to see if I see a 7th. I do not. He does have the Robotics... Robotics Bay is already down. Robotics Facility being warped in at the front of his expansion here. Phoenix is still poking in and out. And looking at what Pandatank is doing. He's just sitting nice and fat with these 2 Colossi. And a 3rd one on the way. 4th one, 5th one queued up. But no upgrades, it seems, from Pandatank.
No, Phoenix is coming in, trying to go for some more harass. Stalkers blink forward and almost pick up a kill. Supply-wise, 102 supply for Pandatank against the 92 of Value. Pandatank's going to have a great Colossus advantage if and when they finally do fight. And Value does not look like he wants to drop. No, he does. He has dropped that 2nd Robo. Excuse me. So he will at least be able to not become any further behind in the Colossus count. I should say right now it's 3-1. It's about to be 5-1, but then it'll be 5-3. So there's going to be 2 Colossus difference for as long as these 2 players continue producing these big Robo units.
Oh, one of the Phoenixes went down. They took out that Zealot to destroy his viewpoint from the Zelnaga Tower, but at what cost? Was it worth it?
Resources lost shows us that it's a pretty even game right now. 375 resources lost by Pandatank, 475 resources lost by Value's, and a fantastic job of just not really taking damage. We do see that Pandatank's on the move, though. He's got a pylon set up in the lower half of the map. He's going to go ahead and push on this 3rd base. I guess, did he see the 3rd? He did not.
No, he has had no vision of the 3rd. So he might assume that at this time, 13, almost 14-minute mark, that 3rd would be down. But having that pylon at that section of the base Obviously adds for more reinforcements with the warp mechanic. And a couple Stalkers are warping in right now to add to the forces of the Colossi that have moved across the map. But Value's forces are moving out of his base as well, kind of poking and prodding to see what's going on. But he's going to move his forces.
Big army supply advantage for Pandatank here, and he's already killed a couple of units for free. Value realizes immediately that he can't hold this this expansion, and he is going to have to fall back to the top of his ramp. He's going to have to be incredibly patient. Colossus count 7-5 right now. Pandatank's got a pretty good position. Phoenix is doing a lot of spotting and a little bit of extra damage to the Colossi as well. 142 to supply to 137. Both these guys being very methodical about this attack and about this defense.
Value splitting his forces to take care of this one pylon. However, he's going to swing around Pandatank with his units to go to the front of this ramp, going to try to kill some of these rocks to negate the bottlenecked effect of coming up the ramp here. But Value's going to position his forces to try to stop his push.
Here we come. Big push coming out of Pandatank. Colossi doing lots of damage. Stalkers not able to get the mix because of the force fields, but now they have been broken, and I don't know if Value's going to be able to hold here. Supply is still looking awfully even, but the Colossi of Pandatank just untouched. Zealots walking in as well, and yes, I believe that Pandatank's got just enough to have won this battle and to have taken this game.
It was the war of the worlds between the two sets of Colossi, but the world of Pandatank looks like to be the victor. Another Colossi pops the wrong time, being surrounded really by those Colossi. And as Pandatank reinforces with more Stalkers and Colossi moving across the map, he's going to continue to do more and more damage to Value, and Value is not going to be able to catch up.
Yeah, his natural is pretty much forfeit. Pandatank's just warping in right on top of this aggression. It's supply-wise, it's still pretty close, 105 to 104. But the Colossus count is the really important thing. 6 Colossi against 5, and just the angle of engagement so much better for Pandatank. Here come the probes. Final stand of Value. He's going to try to make something happen here. Can he break free? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Sending in the probes is kind of a sign if you give it all you got, but that's all you have, and that's not going to be enough for Value to hold. He is going to continue the fight, though, moving up and down with these Colossi above the ramp to try to get the vantage point. However, these Colossi able to spot him are going to clean him up, and there.
Well played, says Value. Pandatank taking game number 1, looking pretty good on Daybreak. Game was brought to you guys by Epson Projectors, the world's #1 projector brand on the planet. That's so redundant. I say that every day.
But you know what? It's true. Sometimes the truth gets redundant bitter, but it doesn't make it less true. All right. I had to do the sponsors last night off the cuff. It was a lot of fun. But to see that many people that are invested in esports and in the North American Star League, it's great. And it's something that we should always treasure. And we do here. You know, we're able to come in, play StarCraft 2, cast StarCraft 2, produce segments around StarCraft 2 and esports. Every day is awesome.
Guys, Epson Projectors offers a full line of bright projectors with brilliant image quality. Head on over to epson.com/projectors for all the details. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with Pandatank versus Value, game number 2, after this.